got through all 3 lessons last week, then you are awesome, because they're pretty tough. And we're going to be reviewing a lot of the same things from here on out. So, what I want you to do, which is what me and Micah are going to be doing, is focus on doing the best that you can with everything that we go over. For example, when we go over our windmills, don't just continually move your arms about. As I discussed the last session of last week, Saturday, it's about feeling the connection in your whole body. These windmills are the foundation of everything. So when we're going through them, feel the connection from your legs all the way up through your hips, through your core, into your arms. Everything should move together as one piece. And when you're going into Pouchuan, you're not just moving your arms really fast. You need to tighten up your stomach, your sides, and really push your knees outward so that you're getting the most pull and push out of your whole body. And when we transition from one stance to the next, don't just, flop over on your heels. Don't take any shortcuts and do a halfway turn with your hips diagonal. No. Everything we do, since we're going to be reviewing it many infinite amounts of times, you need to push yourself to have the best form that you can, the full range of motion that you can do, and it's all about yourself and doing the best that you can do each time we train together. From just the stances, making sure you don't let your butt stick out, to the transitions, making sure you're not just flopping from one stance to the next, that you're really bending your leg, getting your hips underneath you, pushing your heel down, locking your hips in place, tucking them underneath you, keeping your back straight, all those little things. And of course, I'll remind you along the way. But those are things that only you will know if you're doing them or not. And only you can benefit from doing them the proper way each time. The second you give yourself a little bit of slack, you're ruined. And you'll start slacking off every time you do it, and you might as well not be doing anything at that point. So with that, let's get stretching and get into it. Who's that? It's Micah! So, for stretching, what do you want to start with? Arms, legs?
Whatever.
Alright, I'll start with my arms.
I'm just down the stretch.
Remember, with this stretch, you should feel it all throughout here. And if you do roll your shoulder forward a bit, you'll feel it going all the way up sometimes through your neck. In a good way, not in a weird way. And really try to pull it towards you. If you can't pull it in that much, that's okay. Just pull it as much as you can, because you will be able to bring it closer and closer and closer to your chest. All that means is that you need to stretch out a little bit, and that's why we're here.
I think my arm is broken.
No, you're just like Gumby in some
It just goes
areas.
so far.
Yeah. Aren't you also the person that can flatten your hand?
What?
Can't you flatten your hand?
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So with this again, reach up like you're just gonna slap yourself on the shoulder, give yourself a pat for doing a good job last week, and then you pull it up by the elbows. Same thing with the other side. Okay, and then also, if you want to lace your fingers together, and pull your shoulders back. And then, if you can, which this might be difficult, pull them up just a little bit. Does that get your biceps?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta straighten up your shoulders. You're not like, do I look like that?
Oh no, you're facing the other way.
No, I look like this.
Oh.
Okay. Now for our legs. Again, I like to stick one out in front and then lean back with my toes pulled upward and reach down, wrap my hands around my ankle. And try to bring my chest as close to my thigh as possible.
Ooh, that's too deep.
If you're like Micah and your legs are not flexible at all, just know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
You have Micah.
To show you exactly how you could be if you don't stretch at all.
Yes.
It hurts so bad.
Okay. Now another one. You make an A shape, a wide set A shape with your legs, and then turn your feet about 45 degrees, not all the way this way, which would be 90 degrees from the front, about 45, maybe a little more than 45, about 50, 55, and then you bend to one side. I started going way too far on the angles. Now, I believe we went over this with our last training. If you find it hard to keep your balance, it's okay to put a hand out in front of you. Otherwise, you lean on that leg that you're bending on. And really try to feel that stretch. In some cases, all the way down your leg. Okay, now push yourself back up. Again, about 45 degrees, 50, maybe 55, I'm not that good with angles. And you bend that leg. And you may, your back leg may slide out, and that's perfectly fine. Just let him go. Don't hold that leg back.
I can go further.
Straighten up your leg. 9 degrees. Okay. Alright. Put yourself back up. Now, keep that same wide set A shape. Reach up. And then reach down. Try to get your hands flat on the ground. With your feet facing forward. You don't want your feet sidewards or inwards.
Sad words.
Good old Bob Ross for you. Okay, now turn your hands back and walk them through your legs behind you, and then just hold it there. Hold it in that spot where you can't walk them back any farther. Straighten up your legs, make sure they're not bending. If they're bending, then back off a little bit. Straighten them up. There you go.
Ugh, I can't.
Okay, now slowly rise up. My people, rise up. Slowly. To prevent any blood fluctuations, yes. And now, we're gonna pop a squat. And we're done.
Good training day, guys.
Yep. You really made it. Made it through today. We've got Huntsman 35, Headlock, and Noogie her for 11 seconds. That's not gonna be as easy as you might think. Huntsman. Alright. Now, legs straight in front of you, back straight as possible. Pull your toes up towards you while still keeping your knees flat. That's going to be one of the hardest parts of this stretch. And you're going to take your arms, reach them out forward as far as you can. In Micah's case, I do highly recommend training with a partner, whether it's a friend, your significant other, anybody, a relative, doesn't matter, young or old, big, tall, short, medium, everywhere in between. Kung Fu was for you. Okay. Okay. Now, if you do have a partner, which Micah does, I'm gonna help keep his feet flat. I'm gonna grab his wrists. And he's gonna take a nice deep breath in and out. And he's gonna try to relax his thighs. Relax those muscles that, clench up your knees. Relax your calves. Take nice deep breaths. Another deep breath in. Feel your muscles relax. Now this next exhale, I'm gonna pull you forward a little bit.
Oh. Don't go further.
I'm not going further. Breathe deeply, and every time you exhale, relax your muscles as much as possible in your legs.
Oh, that hurts so bad.
Relax your thighs. Don't clench up your knees. Don't even clench up your buttocks. Relax everything. And that's it. We're not here for torture. We're here to get better.
My toes are numb.
Keep them. Okay, so this next one, you bring your leg around about halfway between your knee and your hip, halfway up your thigh, and try not to lean all the way towards the side that you just put your foot. Try to keep your buttocks, both glutes flat on the ground, and pull your knee in. Now this one might be a little bit of a shock for some people, because it's not very often that we do things that actually stretch out our glutes. But, just everyday activities, standing, walking, going about our business. They're all things that work our muscles. And so when I first was introduced to this one, I was like, ah! I was like, no way.
This is one of my favorites.
And I went to do it again, and I was like, it's so much. It burns so much.
See, surprisingly for me, this is one of my easiest. It feels so good.
Yeah, Micah has very good, sideways flexibility in most of your body. Your arms, your legs. You can do one hell of a butterfly.
Yeah.
But the up and, front and back movement, very tight. Very tight. You've gotten a lot better, though. Because you weren't able to stretch as far as we did earlier before. Make sure you keep your back straight as you can. Pull that knee in and feel that stretch all the way up the side of your thigh into your glutes. Okay. Personally, I've never been very good with the butterfly. Try to push your knees down towards the ground as my understanding. And I've never been able to do that. Micah, on the other hand. Alright. Now we're up. Now this is very important. There are multiple ways to do this, but we want to stretch out our calves. So what you can do is find a wall, put one of your legs back behind you, like we're going to be in your side horse stance. Lean up against it, and keep your heel down, but lean up into that wall. And turn your hips square, and really lean forward. Lean, 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 lean. And keep your heel down. Want to give him a try? Give him a whirl? Are you stretching him? You have to ask Micah sometimes, because sometimes he doesn't feel it, but he won't say anything. But if he makes slight adjustments, then he gets the stretch that he's looking for. Make sure your hips are square, just like when you're doing your side horse stance. And you're keeping your heel down, 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 and really leaning in. Alright. Last but not least, today, to stretch our hips, we're doing our hip rotations.
That mostly gets like my lower back, hips area.
Do at least 10 revolutions, then go in the other direction. Bring it around town, as they say. Okay, and again, same as last session. If you go a little bit wider than your usual front horse stance, and put your hands facing the inside of your knees, and then lean your back forward. You're going to use your arms like some sort of pry device, and really push your knees outward while you bend forward, and you should really start to feel it stretch your joint area here with your legs, maybe even your groin muscles on the inner thigh. And lean one shoulder forward so that you make this corner shape, and really feel this press on that same side. That knee should be pressing outward. You should really feel that stretch. Then we switch to the other side. Now, if the stretch doesn't feel even on both sides, that's okay. That just means that you tend to maybe use one leg for balance and the other leg to kick if you do some sort of sport, or, washing dishes. You might tend to use one side over the other. It happens. You're not going to get the same stretch evenly on both sides, because one side's dominant than the other. One's for balance, one's for actual doing stuff. So now finally, it's time to get into it. We will begin with our salute.
Oh, I'll take some water.
Get the last water you'll be drinking for the next hour at least. No, I'm just kidding. Drink water. It's very important. Alright. Ready?
Hi.
Chin kai sharp. Chi so su. And one of these days, we'll have a special segment on learning the salute. But for now, go ahead and step into your front horse stance. Remember, feet about a foot away from your shoulders, outward on each side, and you're going to bend your knees so that they're not completely 90 degrees by any means. But you want to at least get to 45. You don't want to be stuck up here because you're not going to be getting the most out of it. You want to be right down here. And again, you want your hips tucked. Don't leave your butt hanging out. And you're going to grab the ground with your toes. Again, you're not balling up your feet underneath balling up your toes underneath your feet. You're more so taking your toes and pulling them like this, so that you kind of feel like a suction up against the ground. And your feet are facing forward. If you're naturally outward facing with your feet, you're definitely going to feel a stretch in your Achilles tendon, your ankles even. Don't push yourself too hard, but just enough because it will be uncomfortable. And if you naturally pigeon-toed, again, pulling them forward might be uncomfortable. Don't overwork yourself, but you will be uncomfortable, so you have to push yourself past that. Otherwise, if your feet naturally face forward, you won't feel as much of that stretching and pulling around your ankles. And now, we begin our windmills. These are the upward windmills. And if you're joining us for the first time, then make sure you're making nice big circles. You want when you're coming up, to say hello with each arm. You want that hand to be about a hand length above your face. So if you go from the top of your forehead, and you go outward a bit, just enough so that your arm's not sticking straight out. It's got a slight bend to it, so it feels more comfortable, more natural. That's where you want to be when you come up. Almost 100% straight out, all the way down to cover well past your groin. And all the way across, not to where you're rolling your shoulder forward, but if you're, keep your shoulders back and down, it comes all the way across. So if you had some sort of projectile coming towards you, you'd have full range of coverage with both arms. Okay? Now, make sure you're breathing very deeply. And this is Daiji Chuan. And this speed, if you will, is meant to be, changeable. Don't be rigid. Try to use the Daiji Chuan to feel that connection that I was talking about earlier from your legs all the way up through your stomach, all the way up to your arms. Okay? So what I do is, for each time one of my arms comes up, I'll take the hip of the same arm. So I'll use my right arm as an example. I'll take this hip and I'll push it down slightly as the arm is down on that side. And then I'll rotate it and push it upward. And it makes my whole leg kind of contract and then push up as well as that's coming up. And this allows me to feel like, if you imagine there's some sort of rod from your hip to your wrist, for example. Every time your arm comes around, your hip should also be moving. Kind of like, you know, the wheels on a train, as it's going on the tracks, they're all connected together with one bar. Don't be afraid to change speeds, you know. You can drop your arms a little bit faster, slow it down, to really feel that connection with your legs and hips. You can drop a little speed in it again. Okay, after this next big inhale, we're gonna go into Paltron, or as fast as you can. Paltron. Shongchuan. Now again, this is all about dynamic tension. Make sure you're grabbing the ground a little bit harder with your toes. Your muscles are going to be tense. And you're going to be squeezing your fists. And again, Shongchuan. It's like you're moving your arms in the windmill, but with resistance. Like you're turning a big wheel. That's heavy, heavy, heavy. Okay, relax, Tai Chi Chuan. Okay, slow it down. We're going to transition to your left. Remember that right arm comes up. That's when you bend the right leg. As your left arm is coming up is when you're going to start to turn your body. And then you're going to finish out up, up, and you drive your heel into the ground. Okay, so one more time. Just for the transition. Slow it down. Do not stop the motion of your windmills. Try to keep it one flow of motion. Even if it's slow, 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 just for you to feel the transition. Okay. Right arm's up. We bend the right leg. Left arm starts coming up, we transition to the left, and then we drive our heel into the ground.
Here you go.
It's like, okay. Here, come this way so you're not worried about hitting the TV. Very nice. That was very nice. Do you feel like it was in sync with your arms, or do you think it was a little off?
Maybe a tiny off, but I feel like it was pretty close.
Okay, I'll try them again. Try to feel that synchronization.
Would that be proper?
That's a little bit better.
A little better? I need to
get my
and you're
heel.
gonna have both of these arms. Once you turn,
Mm-hmm.
this one's coming up while you're turning, and then when you drive your heel into the ground, this is the one that's up.
Oh, so it's like.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
So yeah, so let me show you real quick.
go over.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
So that's okay.
Yeah, so you're definitely gonna feel. So when you're here, turn. See, and I use the momentum from this, because one's always up, one's always down.
Mm.
So as one comes across, it helps you to pull the other one down.
Mm.
And so with that, if you imagine this arm connected to this side, this leg, while it's down, you see this turn, my arm and my leg at the same time, so that when it's coming across, this one's pulling you, if you imagine, the left arm is pulling you to the side, right? But this is the arm connected to that leg that's going to,
I gotcha.
pull it into position. So you've got one that turns you, one that pops you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so definitely try to feel that moving at the same time. These two, almost like there's a bar right here, and this can't even move without the other one, like a pendulum.
Okay. So if I'm in.
That's why I say to take it slow, 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 and try to feel that your arm can't move without the leg doesn't move without your arm. Ah. Okay, here, go back front. Do your windmills. Okay, slow, slow, slow. While you're turning, and you feel that when this leg naturally wants to start turning up by itself.
Yeah.
That's when you use that and this together. So I'm talking like right at the same time. As that,
Okay.
because your leg's gonna naturally reach a point where it's like I'm either dropping or popping. And seriously, that's how it is. It's like I'm either doing this or I'm coming back up. And when it does, this arm, same time. Just how this one kind of pushes it out. Push it out. This one comes right in front of it. And that's the one that helps it pop.
Okay. So you've got the windmills.
Almost.
I'm just trying to do it really slow. Let me see.
Right in front of that leg. Beautiful. Beautiful timing on bringing that arm across. So you want it right in front of that knee as it's coming. Push it out. Sweeps it back in. Beautiful.
Is that more?
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. Another one?
Oh. Very nice. Now keep doing your windmills. And hopefully you too were experimenting with that feeling of having your arms and legs always connected. Like there's always a bar. Or if it helps, a string like a marionette. If one moves, the other one moves with it.
You have to step forward a little bit. Thank you.
Okay. Now we're in our side horse stance. Your back heel is down like Micah's. Your hips are square. And your hips are tucked underneath you so that you feel a tension in this back thigh like it's locked in now. You should feel it. There are rare cases where you might not feel a very tight tension. But for most people, you will feel a tension. Okay. Now, just like with the front-facing horse stance, I want you to focus today on trying to feel a connection with your arms and your legs. Okay? So when you're going through your Daiji Chuan, which is this speed, the nice and loose, the yin and yang kind of flow, I want you to feel as your arms are coming around, feel how your hips and your front knee can really help you bring these arms across. And this is a little bit exaggerated.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll even up over time. But if it helps, this is what Daiji Chuan is designed for. It's to help you feel this connection. And then you're going to have, for this arm, you're going to have this back leg. And when it's coming up, you want to feel that straightening up, that push again, when this arm's coming up. So when it's down, a little bit of a bend, when it comes back up, you want to try to drive that heel into the ground each time. So you have both sides working. Yeah, you're going to have both sides working, right? So as this arm's coming up, this leg, see? Always. It's like the moon, right? And how the tides are always pulled by the moon. That's what your hand is to your legs. It always pulls it forward, and as it's coming back, see right now, I've got this huge tension all the way up through my hip, through here, because it's all connected together. And now as I come back around, see how it drops, it locks back again, and I grab with my toes for that, like I'm going to use my leg to like propel me, almost like I'm going to grab the ground, use that leg, and then at the same time, for your other side, with the back leg, when you are coming around, you see my hip, you move, you see how it bends that knee just a little bit as it's coming down. And now I've got the spring-loaded tension, just like when we're transitioning into the stance.
Yeah.
It's that same motion, but just tiny, because I'm already in the stance. So it's that same feeling of coming into the stance, except you're already in it. So you drop down with your knee slightly, and then when it comes back around, again, you have that push down with your heel. So at the same time, you've got boom, and then this leg, boom, this one, boom, this one, boom, this one, boom, 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 boom. Constantly, both sides.
Yeah, that's crazy. Who knew a windmill could be so intricate?
Yeah, it is. This is the foundational movement for the whole everything. Okay, I'll kind of use Micah as a demonstration tool, if I may. So now you see his body's not as rigid as it was just a moment ago. I was trying to demonstrate to him, just like with the front facing horse stance, I was talking about feeling the connection in how I push my hips, you know, kind of make tiny circles with my hips and pull them up and push them down and pull them up with my arms, the same timing as my arms. You do the same thing
I
inside
see.
horse stance.
So I gotcha. That's interesting. It also, I feel like it's easier to keep my balance. Instead of before, the way that I've done it is not really understanding the windmill, but if you try to just stay.
And now you're just like flailing.
But
Like it's like having a circle that's trying to go.
Yeah.
And it's
so
like
it's like teetering.
Yeah.
You know. But if you have that motion. Wait. Oh, wait. I gotta. That's it.
You'll find them again. And every time the arm, so for you guys it'll be your right arm, comes up, you should be feeling, or try to feel, it's going to take a while, but experiment with feeling that same feeling on this back leg as when you're first turning into the stance from the front. It's that same feeling, but on a smaller scale. You don't pull your heel up, you keep your heel down, but you do bend that back leg just enough so that you can feel that little extra tension as your right arm comes down. And then when your right arm comes back up is when you drive that heel back into the ground. So that you're always feeling this tension in your legs. And it's really important that you try to grab the ground with your toes, because that's going to help you feel like your legs are literally pulling you into the ground.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I don't want to be in your way.
No. I don't want to be too redundant, because it's very easy to just keep going over the same things. But you have to spread it out a little bit.
And it's also interesting trying to do things like once you feel it, I guess, which I'm still trying to get to where I feel it. But I feel like when you move at speed, you can really feel the arms connected to the legs.
So now that you've finally felt it, when we go into Pao Chuan, it's not just about spinning your arms as fast as possible. It's about doing all of that, all these tiny connections from your feet to your knees to your hips. And it's about utilizing those as quickly as possible. You know, like firing all of that tension and then all of the release. All of it just circling, using that energy and circling back into itself to kind of create this momentum. So it's like it just can't stop. It keeps building on itself and building on itself so that you
Like
go
a
fast.
piston.
Exactly. So you go faster and faster and faster. And really, when we go into Pao Chuan, you should feel tension in your stomach. And if you don't, all that means is that you're new to the exercise and nobody feels tension in their stomach when they first start. You have to make the effort when we go into Pao Chuan and you go as fast as possible. Even if it's just clenching your stomach, you know, tightening all your stomach muscles while you're doing it, that's better than not tightening your stomach at all. Because eventually it'll go from just moving your arms really fast with a tight stomach to, oh, I feel how my stomach can help keep a tension to help pull my arms for me so that my arms aren't doing all the motions. Okay, make sure you're taking your deep breaths. Your hips are square. Your back heel is down. That front leg is bent, so you can just barely see the toes over your knee. You're gonna take a deep breath in, then we're gonna go into Pao Chuan as fast as possible. Try to maintain that tension and feel it building into itself. Okay? Pao Chuan. You might have to force yourself to breathe deeply. It's not going to be comfortable. Make sure your stomach is tight. Your legs are tight. You're scrunching up your toes tight. Your arms, it's like you're flexing in the mirror, but moving in big circles. Like you're turning a giant wheel and it just keeps resisting. There you go. Keep that arm moving. There you go. This arm should always move the same as this one. Just opposite, of course. There you go. Keep your arms moving together. There you go. Okay. Now, Tai Chi Chuan, relax. Now, just like when we turn from the front to the left, as we turn 180 degrees to the right, focus on that connection to your legs. That's what today is all about. So, when we slow down our windmills, as your left arm comes up, that's when you bend that front left foot. Then as your right arm comes up is when we're transitioning to the other side. Now keep in mind, you keep this windmill movement, one arm's up, one arm's down. So what's your left arm doing? It's down here by that back leg. Your back leg should be bent right now, should be lots of tension. And as your left arm comes around is when you're going to drive that heel into the ground and square up your hips. And now you're ready to go. So I'll demonstrate farther back so you can see me. When we transitioned to the left, we kept this this motion all the way through. And you see this timing, when this arm comes across, which would be the right arm to turn left, so too does my right leg turn. And as this arm pulls us across, this back arm is going to drive your heel into the ground and set you up. So now when we go to the opposite side, left arm comes up, bend the left leg, and again, now we're just like we were when we were turning left, but we're turning right. Right arm comes up to pull us across, and while it's doing that, where's the left side? It's down here again, right in front of that thigh on your back leg. And as you come across, this arm is going to push that heel into the ground. The only difference is we're going a full 180 degrees instead of just going from front to side. So one more time. Like bends, and again, if you need to widen your stance for the other side, now's the time to move that foot. You need to. arm comes across. There's that connection with your leg. Hips are square. My knee is bent. Heel is down. Hips are underneath me. Now that's what it's all about. Is feeling that connection. Okay, Micah.
Oh, God.
Yosh!
Yosh!
Nice and slow. And really feel that, just like how we did the other side. There you go. Nice timing.
Is that good?
Did you feel like it was in sync?
I did.
That's what it's about. And you too should be experimenting with this. Practice these transitions. Try to feel. See how now Micah used to be rigid. Now look at him. Just a couple of practices. And now, when he starts turning, his arm is almost directly...
I got thrown off for some reason.
Put too much pressure on him. Now he's the star pupil of the show. See how that hand crossed right in front of this back leg at the same time. And when it came up is when he released that tension on that bent back leg and sprang himself forward into a full side horse stance. That was beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, transition one more time.
Alright.
And we'll continue our windmills.
Drop my heel.
Yeah, you didn't feel it.
I felt it for the move.
But you didn't feel like you were solid at the end. Beautiful. And you see how his whole body, when he drives that heel down and his arm comes up, stay in your position. Windmill. When he brought that left arm up, his whole body almost looked like it was a whip, whipping that arm around. That's what you want, that full connection. You know, if you think of a whip, what gives it that power is the fact that the whole thing is moving as one. When the back comes up, the front drops down like a wave. When the back drops is when the front releases that tension. It's the same thing here. That was so crazy that I could see it in like your body when you got that transition. Even that slowly, boom, could see it. Actually, if you could move forward a little.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to do my windmills too. I have to get really forward though. That's too much. No, I'm too much. Okay, here we go. I have to slide this over actually. Okay. Now that we're in place, I'm so nervous about this.
You can maybe move over a little bit.
No, you're good, you're good. It's just I never hit it, but every time I always worry about hitting it.
No,
Okay.
It's weird. I feel like I feel less in my skin on this side with my left foot and front.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay. After this next big inhale in, nice deep breath in, we're going to go into Paltron as fast as you can. And again, tighten up your stomach. Even if you can't feel the pulling motion with your arms and your stomach connected, still tighten up your stomach because it will come with practice. You will start to feel how your stomach pulls your arms. So for now, just tighten it up and keep your stance nice and square. Beautiful form. Keep your heel down. Don't let your hips move diagonal. Do the best you can in the best form and make nice big circles. Don't shorten them up. Okay, you ready? Pouch on. Shongchuan. Muscles should be tight, tight, tight. You know what I think is happening? I think your feet might be sliding because of the carpet. So I feel like you might be having to put more pressure in that spot on your foot. So when you play tennis, you have to think when you change directions, you end up sliding. You know? Like that pivot. So I feel like it might be pivoting when there's no pivot. You're turning this big wheel like you're flexing in the mirror, but going in a circle for some reason. Okay, Tai Chi Chuan. Nice and easy. Okay, now transition to the front. Now you want to feel that same connection going to the front from the side. When your right arm comes up, so when you want to bend that front right leg a little extra. Keep that back heel down though. And when your left arm comes up is when you want to turn towards the side. And again, notice that right arm is still with that right leg. It's not moving on its own, and then my leg moves later at the same time. As I'm turning, imagine your left arm is what's pulling you across, and then this right arm is what's helping to throw your knees out and lock you into your stance. So I'll step back for a better visual. For a better visual. Okay. Okay. We slow it down, down, down. Okay. Go ahead and bend the leg. Start facing the front. You notice the arm and leg, same time. Comes across. And it even has a little bit of an inward tilt to follow the hand. Even though I'm already facing forward, I am not in stance yet until this right arm comes around. And you notice it's still following the arm the whole time, and then it throws out square. So, one more time. Comes across. Your left arm pulls you to the front, and this right arm stays with that right leg, and the right leg stays with the arm the whole time. Now it's facing slightly inward because my arm is fully across my body, and as it comes up, notice my knee is also coming up, and when it completes that motion is when the knees drop out and you're ready to go. So, while you're practicing, try to feel that connection, even in this small movement. You're just moving from the side to the front. There is so much going on with your body to get the most power out of itself. Okay? And it's hard to feel the connections at first, but once you slow it down, go as slow as you need to when you're practicing your transitions to really feel, and you can watch your arm. Make sure you're not doing this. See, my leg moved, and then my arm came up, and I started doing windmills. And make sure you're not doing this. Arm comes around, and now I'm in my stance. If I were to slow it down, it was arms first, then I threw my knees out. Body's totally disconnected. I feel discombobulated, because there's no point. So slow it down. Feel this arm coming in at the same time as this leg. You swing it one way, the leg always follows. Okay, then pay attention. As this arm comes down and up, this knee is still following the motion of its arm. It's not following the motion of this arm. That's for this side. It's following this arm. And as this arm comes up, my hips square up, and my knees drop into position. Okay?
So show it at speed.
At speed, we're here, and when you transition, you're ready to go.
That's nice. Oh, it's my turn.
Yes, it's your turn.
Oh, now I'm on this side.
Today's all about connection between your arms and legs. Today is the day to practice over and over again. We practice, so you practice with us while we're doing it. A little bit off.
A little bit off.
Go slow. Slow, 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 slow it down. Your legs behind.
My legs behind.
Gotta toughen up on you these days. Hi. Turn, turn, turn. And then it follows right here. Even though your arm comes across, it still follows. And if you drop into your stance better for front horse stance, as it, see, it's turned inward now. And as it comes across, you feel it also rise up and then throw itself out when you've reached that full circle.
I gotcha.
Okay, so try not to come up and then drop into your stance. Try to stay level, and you're more so just see, you're just coming straight across. And you see how that leg follows the circle like this? So it comes across, and these knees lock into place. Okay, so I think that's what's messing you up, because you're not just turning sideways, you're also rising up a bit, and so you're not really able to feel that bent knee that you're supposed to feel.
I gotcha.
It's supposed to have that tension so that you're straight across, turned straight to the side, not up, and then feel how that arm brings it around.
Very nice.
So
I'll
you
practice that, and you talk to these people.
So we've got Sykes TV. Hi, Sykes. Is this kickboxing? No, wait. Taekwondo. No, it's San Soo Kung Fu. So it's Kung Fu. San Soo Kung Fu. And then MMO2 says, hi. Hi, MMO2. Ben Allen, 2002. How has it learned Taekwondo Day 4 if I just came here now? Aha! Ben Allen, to answer your question, this is our this is our first day. Our 4th day of training. And we are going over the basics. So even if you were to put on some sweatpants and join us right now, you'd actually be going over the same things that we did on day 1.
Just more in depth.
Just more in depth. And we also have each lesson recorded. So if you go to our videos list and you want to start back from 000, day 1 from last week, you can watch it and follow along with it. And you can go to number 2, number 3, and then number 4 will also be uploaded as a video. Okay. Mr. Left Testy. The guy in the back's staring at your ands. And then CH puts the arrows up. Then Evan says, did you Kung Fu kick the dog and kill it? No, she's just big and lazy and sleeps all day. What did the donkey say to you? Nice hands. Ben Allen, and then eat it. Sykes TV, fall back. Mr. Left Testy. That Sykes lad sent us here, so anything we do is his fault. Nice. Well, that's great. Thanks for joining us, guys. And yeah, I enjoy answering the questions and seeing your witty banter. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. And hopefully, if anything, you might see something while you're hanging out that you didn't know before, and that makes it all worth it. So 2 birds with 1 stone. 1 bird is have fun. 2nd bird, oh, I learned something. Boom, 1 stone, just like the dog. Knocked it out. Whoa!
I think the thing that really made it different for me was the height. If you do rise up, it's not the same. So it is about staying at the same level. I mean, you can go down a little bit, but if you, I don't know, it just makes more, it feels more like it makes more sense.
Would you say it feels more
connected?
You can't just steal it like that.
Does it look better though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I had a round of applause for you.
I just want to make
One
sure.
more time.
Just want to make sure, because I want to get it right. I prefer to get it right. Is that good?
Pretty good. Pretty good. And if you were here when Micah is doing his from one side to the other side transition, I made a comment that his body almost looked like a whip once he finally got it. Even though he was moving so slowly, his body really did. You could see it like travel up his body from his legs to his arms. It was like the same thing just happened. He transitioned from the side to the front, and his whole body, you could see it from the feet all the way up. It was like, and that's how you know that you're finally starting to get the basics of keeping the connection with all parts of your body. That's great. I feel like it's been such a good day for you.
Yeah, I've been trying.
That's awesome.
But not letting, because I remember from previous times, you would put your hand out.
Yeah.
And you would make me keep my head under it, under this bar. And I feel like that, for some reason when you said, oh, don't bob up, it kicks me back to that time.
It has PTSD.
Yeah. Twee. But it,
Beautiful.
I don't know.
It's beautiful.
It makes more sense.
It's so smooth.
So just don't let your head go up. And it makes it nicer.
So now, front stance.
Horse stance.
Yes, make sure you have room for your windmills. make sure your hips are tucked. Again, just to show. I'm gonna ask Micah. Alright?
Mm.
Oh, let me face front first. Okay.
No.
This is my stance. I'm gonna do the same thing to the side. Micah, is there anything wrong with my stance, bro? I feel like my stance is perfect. I feel like I'm doing just fine, actually.
No, your ands is all out.
My hands is out.
Yeah, I took it in.
Damn. So I'm good now, right?
I feel like your knees could be out more.
Oh. So I tucked my hands, but Micah says it's still not right. You think my knees need to be out?
Yeah, and your shoulders might need to be down.
Oh, my shoulders need to be down and my knees need to be out. Oh, you know what? It actually feels a little bit easier to keep my balance. Feels easier to feel my legs moving, my hips moving. And my neck isn't as tense as it was before. Oh, so that's why you keep your shoulders down. Actually, I don't feel it in my back either because of that. Thank you, Micah. That's very nice. Alright.
Alright. About to go a little wider.
There you go. Boom.
Mm.
So, the whole point of that is just to say, don't let your knees start to
Oh, sorry.
wander inward like this.
Because that is a stance.
It is a stance, but it's slightly different, and use it for a different time. This, nice, wide, keeps you locked in, keeps your balance. Nobody can push you around.
I felt a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I'll get better at it.
Okay, there you go. Oh my god, you guys are going crazy now. Also, hi Ian Studmuffin 01 and Mr. Beans. I don't think I said hi to you guys yet. Or CH. Okay. Now, we're going to slow it down and transition into our downward windmills. Now, again, today's all about feeling the connection from your arms to your legs. It's very important. So, now that we're going downward, now that we're going downward, just like with the upward windmills, I was saying, try to feel that connection from your knee to your hip to your arm. And feel how your knee can slightly bend as your arm's coming up. And your hip also can roll forward, rolls back again, rolls, rolls, rolls. And you do it for both sides simultaneously. Now that you're going downward, it's the exact opposite of that. As your arm comes across and down, your leg and your hip also come up and down, up and down, both sides at the same time. So, what I want you to focus on is feeling the connection where instead of just going downward, I want you to try to practice not being so rigid and moving just your arms and bending the knee. I mean, your knees are already bent, but tilting your knee forward, I guess I should say, as one of your arms comes up and across, and feeling that tension that it creates in that thigh. And then, instead of just thinking about just bringing your arm down and up again, try to think of it as when your arm comes up, almost like you've grabbed onto something, and now you need to use that tension in your leg and this slight forward tilt of your hip and all the way through your stomach and your chest. You need to use that whole force. See how my body contracts? And I use this hip to help me pull it across. And now that I've done that, this hand is now ready to do the same thing. Imagine you've grabbed onto something at the top. Now this whole side should be tense. And as you bring it down, imagine that you're pulling it, and you need your whole hip to spin you back and rip it out of there. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Do you feel like you can feel the connection a little bit?
Yeah, it's kind of that, but not as dramatic.
Yeah.
But it's...
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that that's fairly accurate?
Mm-hmm. Does it feel any different from before? Do you feel like you were just moving your arms before?
Yeah, before I was just trying to... Yeah. More so just keep my balance. Keep my hips tucked.
Yeah.
Keep my feet straight and my legs out. My shoulders down. But it does help you, I don't know, I guess, do part of your arm work. So it doesn't hurt as much.
It's not all arms and shoulders now. It's your whole body.
Can I get a little water?
Yes. Here,
Just hand them back to me.
Here, get some water. Here you go. Get some water. Alright, what do we got? Keep on windmilling, brother. Is that your brother? Oh my god. My third leg has tension. Do it as fast as you can. We will do it as fast as we can.
Is your dog okay?
Oh, they said that.
Is your dog okay?
Yep, that's just her state of being at all times. She's my inner spirit animal. But instead of doing that, I'm actually torturing myself with Kung Fu, so.
Hi.
Okay!
Hi.
Let's
do this.
Alright.
Awesome.
So, Tai Chi Chuan. It's all about trying to feel the connection. Feel it. Not just your arms moving while you're here rigid. Try to feel that connection with your hips and legs. And make sure you're breathing deeply, deeply, deeply. And after this next big inhale in, I want you to really grab the ground with your toes, keep your hips tucked under you, and go as fast as you can during Pao Chuan. And try to use these connections that we're learning how to feel, and use your stomach. Keep your stomach tense, and try to use that to help you move your arms. And you'll find that your whole body is what's behind your windmills. It's not just your arms moving really fast. Okay, you ready?
Hi.
Okay. Pao Chuan. Shang Chuan. Now remember on this, grab the ground. Squeeze your fists together. And your whole arm, your stomach, your chest, your legs should all be tense. Like you're flexing in the mirror. But you're moving in circles. Like you've grabbed onto a handle on a big stone wheel. And it's so heavy, so heavy, so heavy. But you're gonna spin it. Breathe deeply. Okay, Tai Chi Chuan, relax. Okay, it's time to turn to the left again. So we're going to slow it down. Make sure you're breathing deeply. Slow it down, slow it down. Gonna turn to the left. So as your left arm comes across, to drop that hammer down, you're gonna bend your right leg. Meanwhile, your right arm has already come down, and now it's actually swooping across. So left arm comes across, bend the right leg. Now you're gonna, just like with the upward windmills, but the down windmills, I want you to try to feel the connection to your legs. So that when the left arm then comes down and the right arm is coming across, again, right arm, right leg, they move in unison. It's coming across. Meanwhile, your left arm is also pulling you across. You start turning towards the left side. Then when this right arm, oh my gosh, drops down, remember that image I gave you of reaching up and then using your whole body to pull something down and across your body instead of just dropping your hand down. Use that image where you've taken your right arm and you've grabbed onto something, and now you're going to force that back heel down, and you're going to square your hips, and you're going to use that tension from your leg all the way up through your arm to pull yourself and force that back heel down. So I'll demonstrate and then you practice too.
Alright.
Okay. So we're back here, doing our downward windmills. Left arm comes across, we bend the right leg. Now just like with the upward windmills, these two, it's like there's a bar connecting them, and they stay together, they stay aligned. Keep this motion, and then pretend you've grabbed onto something up here, and now you're going to rip it down. And you see, while you rip it, you have a lot of tension here as you square up your hips. Very similar to pulling something towards you. You know, if I were to grab onto this blanket and something, you know, playing tug of war, somebody was holding it, like the lazy dog, for example. It's that type of feeling of really trying to pull something towards you. Sometimes you have to use your whole body, your stomach, your legs, and you'll feel that tension. Use that type of tension to lock yourself into your stance.
Top up.
Jesus. My type of kung pao. Jesus. Put your diaphragm into it, baby. That's right. Ian knows what's going on. Oh, well, now he lost it. Oh my god, you should do this on shrooms. Don't think you'd get the results you're looking for.
Oh, actually, let me come closer. Oops.
Dad is pregnant. Prank on Mom. Dad is pregnant. Prank on Mom. Yes. Dad is pregnant. Prank on Mom. He is getting a lesson. And then anyone following along with us is also getting a lesson. And I'm getting a lesson. Because the best way to learn is by trying to describe and teach what you know. So.
Even though she has a black sash. Still learning.
Always. You keep learning till the day you die. Ooh, look at this guy.
pretty good?
That was pretty good. What is this? This felt like somebody fired off the gun on a relay race, and you're about to jump over the hurdle. Now it's okay to exaggerate your movements a little bit when you're just now starting to get your mind around the idea of this connection between your arms and legs. Nice. You didn't let that stop you. That was beautiful. Alright, one more. Yes, it's okay to exaggerate your movements when you're just learning about keeping your body connected, because otherwise it's very hard to just take the idea and translate it into motion. Very nice. Now if you look at Micah, his feet are facing front. His hips are square. His hip is tucked. How can I tell? Because his leg looks like it's got a lot of tension, and it does. His back heel is down. Another good indicator that he's got the full tension in his back leg. The only thing that could be is what?
Grab the ground.
No, you're grabbing the ground.
Oh.
I see your white toes.
To straighten my hips.
No, your hips were straight.
Shoulders down.
No, your shoulders were down.
Tucked.
You're tucked already.
Straight. my leg.
Keep doing your movements. What is it that could possibly be? Look down.
Что-то. Oh, it needs to be more straight? Or more
Hi.
bent?
Hi.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful. Alright, now actually move back a little bit.
No,
I'm sorry.
use me and leave me.
She reminds me of the girl from Spider-Man. Can both of you please put on tighter pants? We could, but it would be very uncomfortable. The best pants are loose pants. And I'll never change it! Come on.
Oh. Hi.
Turn my back for 2 seconds.
Sorry, I was
Slacken
making
off.
sure you were nigh. Out of the way.
Make sure you're breathing deeply. Make sure you're making full circles. Can't tell you how many people I've seen. They're in their front stance, beautiful big circles. Then as soon as they turn to the side, this arm stops going all the way across your body. No, it has to go all the way across the cover, all the way slightly past your shoulder even. Full, nice big circles. Okay. Feel that connection, that pulling, pulling, pulling. Just like with the upward windmills. We were talking about the connection while you're doing it, how it's a simultaneous. So while this arm is coming down, I want you to feel your knee and your hip. Go nice and slow. Coming into it. And then this one, coming into it. But you're going to feel the most in your back leg with this one as it comes around. And then that same motion, like when you were transitioning, drive that heel down. It comes around and you drive that heel down. See? And it's always simultaneous.
So it's at that,
Boom.
but without straightening my
Yes.
right leg.
Just like when you're transitioning into the stance itself, you keep that feeling, but now you're already in the stance, so it's just a smaller, compact version of that full transition movement. Make sure you're going up. There you go. Beautiful. Grab the ground. Okay. Now, breathing deeply. Back heel is down. Hips are tucked underneath you. Hips are square. You can barely see your toes. When you look down your front leg, your front knee, I mean. Nice big deep inhale, and we're going to go into Paltron as fast as you can. Shong-chuan. Grab the ground with your toes. Again, it's like you're flexing in the mirror, but you're moving in circles. It's a dynamic tension. Breathe deeply. Remember, your stomach should be tight. Your whole body should be tight. Tai Chi Chuan, nice and easy. And we're going to slow it down. And we're going to transition to the other side. Alright, back up. So, just like when we were moving from the front to the side, we're going to go 180 degrees to the right side. So when you slow it down, your right arm is about to drop down. So you bend that front left foot. So it's almost the opposite of when we were doing the upward windmills. And now you should start to feel the compression since you're coming across your body, bending that front leg. Now, as this arm comes across, notice, just like when we were turning to the left, my left arm and left leg are in unison. One's coming up, and my knee, if you focus on my knee, it's moving at the same pace. And when it comes around, so when I straighten it up and drive my heel into the ground. Okay? So if you keep your motion as one fluid motion, even though if it's really, really, really slow, you'll be able to start to feel that connection. Bend that leg, comes across, and you drive your heel into the ground. And now you're ready. Mic up. There's a clip that like says how to fan your dog because it's the windmill blowing in her face. There you go. Thank you so much for that clip, Scout Townsend. I'm gonna watch that. Beautiful. And you didn't bob on that one.
Oh yeah, that's another thing I'm gonna put more focus on. Because I wasn't even thinking about it. I want to.
Oh, we got a little closer.
Me?
I did.
Ooh, I gotta get my foot right. It's over here doing like this.
Yeah, I know.
Like getting all over the place.
So if you go slow, slow, slow.
Oh,
Down. Yep.
So it's
Bend them. Alright. Now as this comes across, just like when we were doing the upwards, it's in line with this. Comes across. What are you doing? So what? That heel should never be up.
okay.
Never. Should never be up.
Your foot.
Good. Now Here. You're also gonna need to move this foot.
Yeah.
It's gonna help you keep your heel down. Move him. Beautiful. Beautiful. No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Because at the end, you turn on a ball of your foot.
You
see? You're
Yeah,
doing
yeah, yeah.
you're doing fine. Ball of
Ball
your
my
foot when you drive your heel down and then you put your heel down. But now you've already lost
all that
all
tension.
of it. Yes, the tension's no longer there. It's very difficult to keep your feet flat. But if you do keep your feet flat while you're turning, that's what creates that compressed spring feeling. So that as this comes around, at the same time, like there's a bar connecting them. See that? Boom.
I gotcha. So it's more so staying bent.
Yeah, and you'll know, because you'll feel it in here.
Okay.
In these upper, above knees.
It doesn't feel right.
So hopefully you're practicing too, because today is all about the connection between arms and legs. Nice. Keep it flat. Flat. Push it. Better. Way better.
So it is the drive with the right hand.
Yes.
For them left, but
Yeah.
for us.
For
Oh,
us
okay.
it's the right, yeah. And again, try to imagine that when this arm is up, you've grabbed onto something, and now you need to use all of your everything to pull it down, and you drive that heel down.
Okay.
Ooh!
Yeah.
Yeah! Alright, do them again, but as one fluid motion.
Hi.
That's crazy. That's such a big difference.
Oh,
Ooh,
I lost my
almost
balance a
had
little
it.
bit.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
Do them
hold on.
again. Beautiful.
Is that better?
Beautiful.
Hi.
Okay. Now we're on the
One
side.
more.
Now that we've transitioned to the side, your right side, which for us is the mirror image, or the left. Yeah, make sure you've got space.
And I'm good right here.
Yeah, you're fine.
I can move up more.
Just do whatever's nice, because I don't want you smacking.
Good.
Okay.
It's, I
Oh my god.
can't
Stop.
touch
Stop molesting that bokoblin.
it.
Okay. Oh, классно. Я русский. Я русская жена. Я русская женщина. Как ты знаешь? That's really weird. How did you know I was Russian? That's so weird. Now, your hips square,
I
bend your
thought,
front leg.
I
there
thought
you
they were
go.
square.
Хорошо. Take your deep breath in. And after your next one, we're going to go into Paltron. Paltron. Shangchuan. Again, your whole body should be tense, squeezing your fists. your stomach. Breathing deeply. Okay. Daiji-chan. Nice and easy. Now, to the front.
Do them again? Or move?
So, just like with the upward windmills, when we transition from the side to the front, we maintain that connection between our arms and our legs, where this right arm and my right leg stayed connected, and my leg even made the same revolution that my arm made, and it helped me throw my knees out into a full stance. So now moving with the downward windmills, face the side. When we slow it down, when our left arm comes across, we bend the right leg. And again, you're going to keep the same flow of motion with your right arm and your right leg. So your leg's bent, right arm comes around. You see how they still move together. As this comes down, again, just like with the upward windmills, that right leg is slightly facing inward. Well, this leg is getting into position because it's also following my left arm. And as this arm comes down and around, it's like it throws, it's gonna slap that knee right into position. Okay? So we slow it down, we bend our knee, start facing the front. Your knee is always moving with your arm, and you're straight. Think you got it?
Alright.
Remember, one of the biggest things we found out earlier with Micah's transitions was that he was bending his leg, but then when he was turning, he was coming up, and so he wasn't able to feel that connection with his legs as much, because then he would have to drop back down. But he's already lost all that tension you're supposed to feel in your legs. So try to keep yourself level. Pretty good. How did that feel?
That's good. I felt like it felt good.
Yeah, you stayed level, you didn't bob up again. Ooh, very nice. Alright, one more. Beautiful. Very nice. Good job, kid. You did that right away.
Hi.
Okay. We're going to take our last round and get some water now, because we're getting into our other
I'm out of water.
our other exercise.
Okay.
I am like a never-ending well, both of literal water and knowledge. No, just kidding. Alright, you ready?
Alright.
Come on.
I got statements. I don't know if...
Okay. Okay. Now we're on the front. So on this last rotation with our windmill, we're going to push ourselves a little bit harder in the Pao Chuan and the Sheng Chuan. Okay, after this next breath in, going to Pao Chuan. Pao Chuan. Sheng Chuan. Really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. All right, now relax. Now we're going to transition. Arms to the hips. Make sure you're not sticking your butt out because you're trying to pull your arms back. Make sure your hips are still tucked. But make sure you're not, rolling your shoulders forward. Ready?
Let me hop back a little bit. Yeah.
So we're going to start off with Dai Ji Chuan. Remember, your fists are down here. They're not up here. What are they doing up there? Right on the hips. Right at the start of your hips. Not down here on these hips. These aren't really your hips. These are your hips. Okay. Remember, elbows not out. Put your elbows in. Shoulders not up. Shoulders down. Shoulders back. Elbows in. And now we're ready. Start off like everything else with Tai Chi Chuan. So out slowly. Remember, about eye level, straight across. So you just barely see over, back of your hand, to that ridge of your knuckle. It's your new horizon line. Now, today's about connection between
Your legs and your arms.
your legs and your arms. Why'd you say it backwards? Your arms and your legs.
I didn't know if I was alphabetical.
So, feel that connection as your arm comes out from your hip. I want you to feel your hip follow it. Okay? And the same side leg, you're going to bend it. You're almost going to lean into it slightly. And when you come all the way out and you turn in that last second, that's when you pop your hip behind it to really get the most power out of it in that tiny little section. Okay? And again, one arm comes out, the other arm comes in. And it still matches with your hips. Because as one hip comes out with your fist, your other hip is going to be rolling inward or away from the front, same as your other hand. Okay? Keep your hips tucked underneath you. you don't want to start rolling your shoulder forward like this. Like, yeah, I'm gonna slug them like I see they do in the streets. Really gonna pop that out there. No, shoulders back, shoulders down. From the hip, moves with your hip, straight out. And you turn at the very end. Okay. Now, I want you to try to lower your stance a little bit.
Jesus Christ.
And we're going to go into Paotron, or
Fast.
as fast as you can. Come on.
You're looking for a better term.
Nope.
Goroshka still. I don't want you to get hit.
Stoy. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to go into Paotron. So with this, again, it's very important. Maintain your form. I don't care if you can't go very fast. You're fast. Might look the same as just doing them normal. That's fine, as long as it's as fast as you can do it while maintaining proper form. So none of these little punches like this.
It's like I'm rocking robots over here.
Yeah. And don't start throwing your shoulders out like this and turning your head, because it gets difficult. No. Knees bent, hips tucked underneath you, and you want full range of motion. So all the way from the hip. And again, from the hip doesn't mean like this. From the hip, all the way back. You want those hands to be flush. Okay? From the hip, out, and back, all the way. Full range of motion. And just go as fast as you personally can. Ready?
Alright.
Paotron. Remember, you're breathing. You can have multiple strikes with one breath. So don't try to you'll hyperventilate. No, you have to okay? A nice big deep breaths. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna have to force your lungs to take in the air. Open up your diaphragm. Okay? Here we go. Paotron. Bring him in. Shengchuan. Hold them. Now you're gonna pop them. Just like we did last week. And you're gonna squeeze them. And this again is Dai Ji Chuan. So when you pop them, nice and fast, but not tense. Then when you squeeze them, just across the chest, we're gonna do the 3 heights, same as last week. Inhale when you pop them open. Exhale as you squeeze them. Then do the middle. Keep your back straight. Don't start scrunching up. Then lower about your belly button. Remember, straighten your legs when you pop up. Bend them and you should be at high again, right across the chest. Middle. As far back as you can. No short ones. Huge. Big, big, big. And now we're low. Okay, after this one, I'm gonna go into pal trot. Remember, do the 3 different heights, rotating. So top, middle, low, top, middle, low, and keep your form. Knees straighten up when you're up, bend them back when you squeeze. Full range of motion, just like with everything else. Just because you're going fast doesn't mean you can do some tine-ins. No tine-ins. You want full range of motion as fast as you can. So even if you're fast, looks like this. That's fine, as long as it's as fast as you can. Really push yourself, but maintain your form. Ready?
Right.
Okay, we squeeze, squeeze, squeezed. Paltron. Okay, squeeze. Pop them open, hold them. Now squeeze your fists. Squeeze as hard as you can. Really squeeze. Hold it. Now we're going to transition to the left. So you pull them, you bend your right leg, pull them up into an X. Then while you're turning, you're gonna spread them up, drop them down, and around. Okay? So, we've squeezed. You're gonna bend your leg, make an X. Now, your thumbs should be up. You fix them. Shoulders back. You don't want to roll them forward, which is something that I still have to remind myself to do. You want to push them back so bad, but you push them back with proper form. So, here we go. This is Tai Chi Chuan. Nice and easy. Focus on the ripping motion. As you come up, inhale. Remember your pinkies up. Rip and down. Paltron. Full range of motion. Don't make me tell you again. None of these tiny, like this. You're cheating yourself. Full range of motion. All the way up, all the way down. All the way up with the focus on that ripping motion. At the top, at the bottom. Okay? Paltron. Shangchuan. Okay, you're down. You're gonna bend your front leg. You're gonna come up and down. Okay, transition one more time. You're down. Gonna bend bend the front leg, and you're gonna come up and down. And back to Tai Chi Chuan. Focus on that turn, that rip, right at the top, right at the bottom, right at the top, right at the bottom. Inhale, exhale. Hey, thanks for the follow, Mr. Beans. Oh, too fast. Too fast. Make sure you push them. There you go. Push that little extra. And while you do that little extra push, really turn them, rip them, and really push with that pinky first to really like, phew, you know what I'm saying? Like a spiral more so. Spiral it. Okay, now pinky, pinky, pinky. Now really use that wrist with that thumb to spiral it. And you're going to start pushing that thumb back. But focus on that spiral. Don't shorten it up. If anything, push and spiral. There you go. But don't pull and spiral. Okay, so there you go. Oh. Now you correct yourself. Nope. Spiral first. There you go. Okay. We're going to go into Paltron. Full range of motion. Paltron. Focus on that spiral, that rip at the top and bottom. Sanchuan. get yourself a fresh water.
I'm dying over here. I'm gonna get you some water too.
Sure. Then we'll do legs. And then I'm done. You done? If anybody gets the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 reference. You done? Well, Micah's getting us some water. Said today's all about the connection between arms and legs. I got so into it. And I wanted to give Micah kind of like a full flow, because we stopped and started our windmills so much with this session. But with these claws, right? When you practice them, you really want to feel when you come back and down, for example. Don't just move your arms. It's all about your legs. So when I come down, let me back up a little bit. When I come down, I've actually brought my front leg back ever so slightly. And my hips, they're like super squared up. I'm back. See, now it allows me, when I'm ready to come back up. I know sometimes when I'm up close to the camera, it might just look like I'm rocking around over here. But just like with the windmills, you're not supposed to be static. You're supposed to be feeling that flow of motion, because it's all about the connection. So, with these, you come down. Then, after you rip, and it comes upward, see, I've brought this leg back to give my hip more room to push forward as I come back upward. So now my hip is super tucked underneath me. My knee feels like it's on fire because it's so tense in this whole muscle. And when I come up, I'm really gonna drive that back heel into the ground. Okay? So you come down, and it feels like you're grabbing something, and you see, you watch this leg, immediately, that's why it's so important to grab the ground. My leg is automatically in the, what I call my pulling position. Just like when I was talking about pulling this blanket, if you were to play tug of war, you wouldn't just stand like this. No, one of your legs would probably go in front of you, and you'd automatically use that leg to pull, pull, pull. You're doing the same thing, but in this position. So you're here, this leg, it wants to pull with you. My whole leg, these muscles, the back of my calves, because I'm grabbing the ground so hard to pull. Even though my arms, I'm in Tai Chi Chuan. My arms are nice and easy breezy, beautiful Kung Fu girl, okay? But it's all in the legs. The legs are what give you the power, right? So, you've done your spiral, this torque, and you can think of every time you do your torque is when your legs go into the next gear. So now I'm pulling up, I torque, my leg is starting to pull back. My hips are super squared, like I said before, starting to pull back to help me pull back with my whole body. And again, I'm in position now. Once I torque, boom, torque, my hip has already started. Before I even make the actual motion, just the torque, my hip's connected, my leg is tense, and I'm waiting to use this crunched up spring tension. If you imagine you've got a big spring, and I know I've said this before, but your leg is coiled up like the spring. And it's got all that tension. And then you start to release it. All that force that can go into that release. That's what you're doing when you turn your hands. You got that spring loaded, and you start to pull up with your hips. And you release that spring to help you pull something up. And then pull it down, pull it up, pull it down, pull it up, pull it down, pull it up. So when you practice those, just like with everything else we've gone over today, try to pay very close attention to how your arms are moving with your legs, with your hips. Not just on the movement itself, but keeping everything moving together. Okay, you ready, Micah?
Hi.
Hi, Rob Kills
Scarlex?
Scarlex.
Rob kills Scarlex?
Rob Kills Scarlex. Show your arm biceps? Question mark? Oh, you talking about these bad boys? Are you talking about those right there? You talking about these? Man, you caught us at like we're towards the end of our training, so I'm like so loopy right now.
Sorry, we're able to watch it back as we can read the comments. It has that delay. Alright.
Can I lift 105 pounds? I don't know how much I could lift.
Yes, you can lift 105 pounds.
Well, I don't know. I used to do weightlifting a long time ago, and I got up to my own body weight, which is 120. But I don't know if I can still do that, because I haven't lifted weights since then. And it's been forever. So I don't know if I can still do that. But maybe.
I think you could.
Maybe. I think getting to your own body weight's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll give myself that. It's pretty good. Okay, so now we're moving on to the final stage of today's training. Shake out your legs, shake them out.
God. Shake up my pants.
We're almost done.
I don't want it. I don't
We're
want to
almost
do
done.
it.
Hang in there.
He says
Almost
I'm
done.
5'6" and 105 pounds. Or she says.
She says.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, I'm 5'8", and I'm 120. That's
Yeah.
pretty on par. That's pretty tiny. Isn't
5'6", 108,
105?
105. Yeah, that's thin.
That's pretty tiny.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You'd eat some eggs.
Raw eggs in the morning. Gulp them down. Okay, so as I introduced you to, if you were with us last week, or if you've gone back to watch the third video, then that's my back in time. The third video. Then you know what's coming next. We're doing our squats, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting our blood pumping. After everything we've gone through, we're gonna really just drive that nail in there, right in the coffin. Stay by. Give me some skin. No. Okay. Alright. Now. God. Okay. Alright.
Yeah,
So-
let's just bite it. Bite the bullet. Let's do this.
So for our first time, last week, we did 18 repetitions. So today, we're going to shoot for the same thing, 18. So if you were able to keep up with us last week, that's awesome. But when you're going through this, Don't think of this as just doing the same 18 squats. Think of it as taking your stance lower than last time and popping up faster than last time. Keeping your form, keeping your back straighter than last time. It's all about pushing yourself harder than you did the last time, even though we're doing the same number of squats. Okay? So just like, you sounded like you were so close, like, hi. So, hips tucked. Keep your back straight. Just like last week, we're going to go through the 3 treasures or the 3 speeds. We're going to start with Tai Chi Chuan, which means you lower yourself down slowly, as low as you can, and then you use your hips come up first. Not to say that you're supposed to lean back like this, but your hips come up first, and it's your hips that spring you upward again. Okay? So you come up as fast as you can. Try to get your hips and your legs to pop up real fast. Okay? And all this while trying to keep your shoulders down, shoulders back, and your elbows tucked in. And your hands on your hips. Your hands aren't up here. Up here, back here, in that hard spot. Ready?
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to count in Chinese because that's the way I was always taught to do it, because it is Kung Fu, it's a Chinese art. Okay, here we go, ready? E. Er. San. Si. Wu. Liu. Qi. Ba. Jiu.
Good.
Shi. Shi. Sure. San. Si. Shu. Liu. Qi. Ba. All right, it's 18. Okay, quick shakeout, quick shakeout. Now we're gonna go into POW, and we're gonna go as fast as we can. What do I say? Full range of motion. None of these tiny squats. This isn't a disco rave party. It's Kung Fu. So you have to go all the way down, as far as you can. So if you can't go that fast, that's okay. I don't care if you do them like this. As long as it's as fast as you can, with the full range of motion. Ready? Alright. And when it gets tough on your legs, try to focus on these arms and keep them back.
We're doing 18.
18. Okay?
Yeah, I just need to keep count for myself.
Yeah, I will too. Okay. Okay, let's do it. That's 18. Okay, ready? Now, Sheng Chuan. It's a little bit different. There's no movement, there's no dynamic tension. The tension just comes from holding your stance. So, ready? You're gonna go as low as you can. While keeping your form. And hold it for as long as you can. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, however long you can. Until you feel like you might die, then push a little bit further than that, okay? And that's just a joke. If at any point you feel like you're in pain or like serious trouble, please stop immediately. But it is gonna be painful. Okay, ready?
Hi.
Here we go. As low as you can. Keep your form. And then hold it. Okay, we're up. Very important.
Are we?
We're up. We're up. We're good. We're golden. We're golden. We're golden. Now, lift up your legs. Lift them up, lift them up, lift them high. Lift up those knees. Get your blood going. Shake them, shake them. Shake them out. Might think the shake is something silly. No, it does wonders.
I tried holding that one as long as possible.
Yeah, I know.
That was so bad.
Okay. Oh. Phew. You squat lift your friend. I don't think I could squat lift Micah. Okay. Thank you for hanging out with us so far. Last thing we're gonna do before we salute out is gonna do our breathing. And if you've been following along with us, then hopefully you've been doing the breathing at the end with us as well, because it does help your body to kind of come back down to reasonable stasis. It's a cool down, if you will.
Stoy.
Remember, feet about shoulder width apart, knees bent, nice and loose. Okay, breathe out. Then you're going to breathe in, pull your hands up, and down. Bend your knees, and straighten them on the way up. One more. Hi. See you. I am beat. And on that last breathing exercise, make sure you're breathing all the way as much air as you can. Then you exhale it all the way out until you feel like your lungs can't possibly squeeze out any more air. There's that last. Then you breathe it in again. And now look at me. Before, my legs were shaking, felt like I was gonna die. My shoulders from holding this back. Now look at me. My blood's not racing hard. I'm back to nice. Phew. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. This was such a good day. Even if you didn't train with us, hopefully, as I was saying earlier, you did learn something new that you didn't know before. Also, huge thank you to our new grasshoppers. Again, if you didn't train with us, we do post a video of each lesson on the channel. So, why not grab some sweatpants, a loose-fitting shirt, and try it out. And if you've never done any type of exercise like this before, go back to day number 1 and see how it does for you. And then come back next time, which will be Thursday at 5 p.m. and ask us any questions that you have about the training that you did follow along with, anything you felt like you didn't understand or you just need further explanation of. And that's why we're here, is to go over everything. So I already said thank you, Mr. Beans. Thank you to Dad is Pregnant Prank on Mom. Again, that's Dad is Pregnant Prank on Mom. Thank you. And Scout Townsend. Thank you. And Ian Stud Muffin 01. And Evan. It's a lot of N's.
Yeah.
Shia. And hopefully you join us back on Thursday, because we'll be here. I'm Maria, by the way.
I'm insignificant.
This is Micah. And yeah. Can you lift your friend? Why do you want me to lift people? Interestingly enough, later on in the training, like way down the line, there are some cool things that you can do with these horse dances if you do have a partner with you that get really intense and really fun. So if you follow along with us until then, hopefully we get to share that with you guys, because it can get pretty crazy. And hopefully if you didn't join us this time, you join us next time. Even if you can only go through, half the lesson, that's still better than nothing. And so we'd love to have you. So with that, we'll do our salute. Jin Kai Shi. Chi So Su. Thank you again. Shit. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.